Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Music Mondays on Understandable English. In this series, I tell you all about the most popular songs that everybody knows, and I tell you what the lyrics mean. Today's song is Somebody That I Used to Know by Gotye. So let's take a look. Gotye rose to international prominence, or became internationally important, famous, with the hit single Somebody That I Used to Know in 2011 or 2011. The song topped the charts, or was the most popular song around the world, and earned numerous or many awards. Gotye has remained relatively low-key, or not very big in the music scene. They don't make a lot of attention, preferring to focus on his craft or on his art, his music, rather than basking in the limelight. To bask in the limelight just means to be in the view of everyone, to be the most famous, most important person. But what does this song mean to me as an American who grew up listening to this music? Well, this song was everywhere when I was in high school. I remember hearing it for the first time as a cover song. That means a different group played this song, but they did it in a different style. This cover song had 5 people playing on one guitar. It was quite interesting to see. Nowadays, this song can still be heard everywhere. It's still quite popular. As always, I can't play the actual music because of copyright, but I can still show you the lyrics. So let's do it. Verse 1. Now and then, I think of when we were together. Like when you said you felt so happy you could die. Told myself that you were right for me, but felt so lonely in your company. But that was love, and it's an ache I still remember. Now and then just means sometimes, but not super often. When we were together, if 2 people are together, it just means that they're boyfriend and girlfriend, they're dating. I felt so happy I could die. This is a collocation, feel so that I could very common. We say this all the time. You were right for me just means you were the correct person for me, but I felt so lonely in your company. When I was with you, if I'm in your company, it means I am with you at this time. I am together with you. An ache is like a very dull or not very strong pain. We know the word stomach ache, headache, things like this. An ache is just a pain. And onward to verse 2. You can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness, like resignation to the end, always the end. So when we found that we could not make sense, well, you said that we could still be friends. But I'll admit that I was glad that it was over. To be addicted to something is like a drug or a cigarette when you can't stop doing it, right? If you are addicted to cigarettes, it means you can't stop smoking. Smoking's bad, don't smoke. But when I found that we could not make sense, meaning understand each other, to figure out, what we wanted to do with our relationship, to make sense, I'll admit, or I'll say the truth, even though I don't want to say it, that I was glad or happy that it was over or finished. Something is over, it means it's finished, like game over if you've ever played some sort of video game. From there, it goes on to the chorus, so let's take a look. But you didn't have to cut me off, make out like it never happened, and that we were nothing. And I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger, and that feels so rough. To cut someone off, especially in terms of a relationship, means to block, to stop talking to them, to ignore them. To make out like something never happened is to pretend, or to act like it never happened. To act like we were nothing, this means that we were never a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So here, he's saying you didn't have to ignore me, to pretend or act like it never happened, and that we were never boyfriend or girlfriend. But you treat me like a stranger, or you act like a stranger with me, someone that I don't know, a stranger, and it feels so rough, or bad, terrible, not very kind. No, you didn't have to stoop so low, have your friends collect your records, and then change your number. I guess that I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. To stoop so low, this is a very common phrase. This just means that you doing something that's very, very unkind, more unkind than you could even expect to do. So you might think that after a breakup, they stop being boyfriend and girlfriend. They might do some not kind things, but to stoop so low means to do something super unkind, terrible, to go very low. Collect your records. These are those big old music discs, plastic discs that you use, records. Change your number just means telephone number. I guess I don't need that. This is a phrase that just means I don't need that drama, that social, craziness. I don't want that. I don't need that. And back to verse 3. Now and then, I think of all the times you screwed me over, but had me believing it was always something that I'd done. To screw someone over just means to do something that hurts them or causes problems for them. You had me believing, or you made me believe, that it was always something that I had done. It was my fault. But I don't want to live that way, reading into every word you say. You said that you could let it go, and I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know. To read into every word that you say, this is a very, very common phrase, and this just means to analyze and try to understand every little detail of every word that you say, to read into something, to learn more about it. To let something go just means to ignore it or forget it. To catch you would be to find you, accidentally see you doing something. And to be hung up on someone, this is a very, very common phrase. After a breakup, after you stop being boyfriend or girlfriend, to be hung up on someone means that you can't forget that this thing happened. You can't forget him or her. So to be hung up on someone means that you can't forget them. You are still thinking about them, you still love them, but they do not love you. Very sad. From there, it goes back to the chorus and repeats, and that's the end. So, congratulations, you know another English song. This one has lots of new words and phrases that we use every day. Well, that's all for today. See if you can use 5 of the new words or phrases that we talked about today and write something in the comments down below. As always, I'll help you fix your mistakes. I recommend listening to the song on your way to school or work tomorrow to see how much you remember. If you learned something new, feel free to press like or subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Understandable English. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. Toodles!